Welcome to the Kubus podcast. In each episode, we will be meeting the individuals who can give us real insight into the problems, solutions, and people in our technology industry.
Thank you everyone for joining Kubus' first podcast of the series that we're looking to do. I'm Katy, I'm a vendor manager here. I predominantly look after Juniper and security. But today I am going to be talking to Paul Bonner, who heads up our technology team. And we're going to be discussing with you guys around everything that Kubus offer from a support side of the business and how that links into our Juniper side. So Paul, I'll let you introduce yourself quickly so you can talk about how long you've been at Kubus, what you do, and just yourself.
Hello, I'm Paul Bonner, as Katy said. I've been at Kubus now for 20 years, so man and boy. I started off working many years ago in Cisco distribution and moved along through various companies through the Kubus group. And I look after the technical team. So we're responsible for talking to customers about requirements, building bill of materials. We also go out and do installations of various equipment from Juniper. So yeah, quite a varied role. And I've been there quite a long time. So I've seen a lot of change within the business.
You have. You're definitely one of the part of the furniture, I'd like to say now.
Yeah, I was described once as being they'll take me out in a box. So yeah, I think I'll end my days at Kubus. So yeah, man and boy. But as I say, a lot's changed, and a lot's changed for the positive. So obviously, we started out quite a different business than we are today, and I think where we are at this point in time, it's the strongest we've been for many years, and we're going from strength to strength, which is great.
How many is there in your team now, and where was it from the beginning? How has that grown?
Initially, we were a team of about 5 people looking after Juniper. That was back in about 2013. Today, I've just taken on, within the last 24 hours, my 14th member of staff. So yes, there's 14 engineers within Kubus, based around servers, storage. I look after internal IT as well, along with the Juniper side within networking, looking at, as I say, pre-sales, post-sales and support.
So before we get on to talking about technology, Juniper, all that kind of stuff, I wanted to just touch on podcasts as a whole. I know that this is completely new to Kubus, but from something that's happening in the world at the moment, podcasts are everywhere. Everyone is doing a podcast, from Z-list celebrities to big guys, to news outlets, everything. So I know I listen to them on the way into work. My journey is a good hour and 20 minutes into Cirencester, so it's a good thing for me to do. But from your aspect, are you a podcast fan? Do you listen to them? And if you do, what kind of podcasts are you interested in?
I do, to a point. It's not a daily thing for me. I tend to like the comedy ones, so anything with people like John Bishop, anything that's funny I quite like. I like it when you get a good dynamic between the person that's being interviewed and the interviewer, or the people on the podcast. I'm a petrol head. So anything car related, I tend to just sort of look at. I like things like...
I realised that from our day out at Land Rover when I was in the car with you. Yeah,
I do like my cars. Anything's Sniff and Smith, Smith and Sniffy podcasts I listen to. I varied. I do a lot of run-ins, so I do like to sort of have a podcast on. I did try the motivational speakers ones. I didn't get on with those particularly well, because I know I'm great, I know I'm fantastic, and I know
I need someone to tell you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I just didn't get on with that sort of thing. I think they serve a good purpose as well. I think for us as a business, it's a way for people to meet us as a team, and also to understand that there's something behind the website. We've got engineers there that have done it. I know I look very, very young. I look about 21, but actually I'm not. I've been doing this a long time. Through various sort of careers, but I think they are good, and they serve a purpose. And I think from a customer point of view, we can talk about stuff that they're interested in. We'll go through. I know we've got some questions to go through on this podcast, but I think we can go through various things that customers may be curious about, new technologies or things that they've got within their environment, problems they've got, or whatever. We can build this into a series, whatever our customers want.
Yeah, and like you say, it's good to kind of get people on there that potentially don't have much of a voice at Kubus, as in they don't get seen a lot. They're probably the operation guys or the sales guys. It's good to get some faces out there and actually talk to them about what they what they enjoy doing as well. So this is a good one to start with.
It is. Yeah, we've got a wider team. It's not just me. Most of them do have beards, so don't worry. We will get a lot of the bearded members of the team on. And they can talk about...
Mine's not showing as much right now.
Yeah, I must admit, for a Secret Santa, one of them, I was going to buy a crocheted beard that I saw on Amazon, because I think the whole team should have beards. That's our sort of name, Team Beard. But I think it's good for you get a different sort of perspective. So you'll get what I think about the networking world or Juniper and the problems that we're seeing and the challenges that we've got. You'll also hear from other people in the team. We've got our tech ops department where we pre-configure everything. And, from a customer point of view, it's great because, you pre-configure stuff before it goes out. But it'd be good to get those guys on to hear about what they do as on a day-by-day basis, the challenges that they get and the things that we may be able to offer customers that are outside of the norm.
So then, I suppose, as obviously you are one of the longest team members within Kubus, previously hardware, which I know that you're a big advocate for the hardware, so I'm surprised you've not got the hardware top on. Who are Kubus and what do we offer to customers? Previously from a hardware to now a Kubus, where we've completely rebranded last year and relaunched. What's your opinion on that?
I'm not going to use the words trusted advisor, value-added reseller and all the other buzzwords in the industry because I hate them with a passion. I think we're an organisation that builds relationships with customers. I think a lot of resellers out there, again, I'm not going to use box shifters because, again, it's a horrible thing, but they just
I think that's what we want to get away from as well, isn't it? From the hardware messaging before, it was very much like tin factory. We want to move away from that. Yeah.
I think, a lot of resellers out there are basically brought into customers to sell a product or sell a service, and that's the end of the engagement. We might go up against companies that they'll sell a solution and that's it. They're not interested in the next solution. Whereas Kubus and hardware in the past, but more in the Kubus side, we build relationships. We are keen on building good, strong relationships with our customers. From an engineering point of view, me and my team, we tend to become part of the customer's engineering team. We've got very, very good relationships and strong relationships with our top customers. We're working on some big projects at the moment, and to be honest, the only way that we're getting through these is the strong ties and bonds that we've built up over many years with the actual engineers. Because when you're in a data center at 4 a.m, when everything's gone completely wrong, if you've not got the ability to have a bit of banter and a bit of fun with the guys that you're working with to try and get things fixed, it's not going to work. We got to a stage where we're all calling things the same thing. We've got various pet names for projects and stuff like that. We've got our own Slack channel with one of our customers, and that's they're global. We've got guys in India, we've got guys in the States, there's a guy in Alaska. We're on chat to those guys most days, just seeing what's going on with the project that we're working on. I've been brought in with one of my customers that we're interviewing for a new solutions architect, and they asked me to be on their interview panel as an outsider. And I had to write some sort of scenarios that they use within the interview. So I'd ask the candidate about how you'd approach a project and how you would sort of look at technologies that are available to be brought into that customer. And it's quite nice to be asked, because a lot of engineers are there for one project and that's it. They move on to the next and they just bounce around customers. But at Kubus, we build strong relationships. We've got good relationships with other customers where we've sort of started off by selling them, a product, box shifting for want of a better word, and then we've built strong relationships. We've got a customer that started off looking at wireless, and now we've been brought in to do a complete refresh of their environment across sort of 3 or 4 warehouses, and we're growing with the customer. As they get more requirements, they keep coming to us and saying, look, you guys did such a good job. We want you involved in all of our projects. And to be asked as an engineer about how we should do stuff, it's quite it's weird. It's like I feel with one customer in particular, I've got 2 teams. I've got the team within Kubus that I work with on a day-by-day basis. I've also got my other team, and sometimes I feel like I'm cheating on my Kubus guys because I'm having fun. I'm meeting up with these other guys. We're doing work together, and it just feels a little bit. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, we're having a laugh over here. But I'll get back to you. But no, I think building those strong relationships is key.
Do you think that is also developed on the Juniper side of the relationship from where we started, in the last 5 years to where we are now as an Elite Plus partner from a technical side, that relationships that you have within Juniper as well?
Yeah, I think we've gone quite we got very heavily involved with the Juniper team and the wider Juniper team. Whereas before, I think sort of 5-6 years ago, we would see the account teams, and we were a bit of an island. You know, we were technically. We had a technical team at the time that was very self-sufficient, and we pride ourselves in being self-sufficient from Juniper. We wouldn't tend to get involved with the SE teams, for example, because we had people at the time who were very, very self-sufficient. I think over the last 5 years, how technology has changed and how we've evolved as a business, you can't be an island from a vendor. You have to engage the vendor. You have to engage the technical teams at the vendor, and we've built really strong relationships. So I speak on a regular basis to a lot of the tech managers within Juniper. We've got good relationships with our partner account manager. For a long time we had a really, really good guy. Unfortunately, he's no longer at Juniper, and he was a Cornishman and I'm a Cornishman, so we built up a very strong bond together. We're talking about the home country and stuff. But I think having those relationships with the SEs has been vital for us.
Oh, definitely. And I can see it from the other side, from the VSEs, from the account managers, coming into the business from a distribution world, to see how close the Juniper account managers are to our account managers just goes to show that relationship is building, and that they have a trust within Kubus to help on these projects and pass leads over and work with us on leads. So I can definitely see that from our side as well, and from an SE side with you guys.
Yeah, and I think we do a lot of the days, we've done some, as you said, you mentioned earlier, the off-road day with Juniper, where we got customers in, and I had you in the back of a Land Rover screaming at me when I was going downhill, and things like that.
Refusing to drive, and you were like, exactly. Get in the front, no.
Yeah, get in the front, drive it. But I think things like that are really, really good, because it shows our sort of commitment to Juniper. We had Juniper speakers in there to talk about various projects and products. We show us as a business what we can do. We have one of my guys talking about Juniper technology, giving a demo to customers. I know we had issues with the projector, but at the end of the day, I think they got what we were talking about. And what was good about that day, I know we've got some more planned, was the fact that customers came up to us afterwards and started to talk to us about projects that they were thinking about. I was talking to one guy, and it was a Mist demonstration and an overview of Mist, and he was starting to talk to me about what we're thinking of doing in our branches is this, what do you think? And I was sort of talking about the AI interface and how that can help. And I think it's really, really good that it leads to other things. We don't just stand up and say, today we're going to talk to you about technology X and this is how it works, and isn't it great?
I liked how we had a complete variety of different customers and end users within that audience, and they were all interacting with each other, giving each other's opinions on the Mist AI presentation that was going on. We also had Apstra people there, so there was a lot of different conversations with partners that are all completely different varieties. So that was a really good day.
Yeah, and I think meeting customers is great. We went through a couple of years with a big C word that we couldn't get anywhere. We got into the Zoom culture, where you have sort of, your day is now 35 meetings long. But getting out to see customers is great. I was talking to one of our larger customers who's creating a data centre, and I sort of do a lot of work in data centres all over the world, and to give them information about what I've seen, what I've done, and they love it. It was really, really positive to actually start seeing customers. And since then, I was out last week with one of our customers. We're doing some work over in Bologna, over in Italy. And I met up with those guys. I'm meeting up with some other guys tomorrow. I'm going to another customer to see some of the work that we've been doing recently. So it's good to see people and talk to them.
You brought up the C word, COVID, not Christmas. What do you feel like has been a positive from that, as in from within your team? I know that, like you say, there's so many Zoom. I mean, the amount of Zoom quizzes I had to do with my friends and team meetings, and this kind of now interaction. A few years ago, I wouldn't even dream to put my camera on a Teams call, because it just wasn't ever a thing. So from your side, from your team, how was that a positive impact, do you feel, or was there a positive impact?
I think it's brought the team closer together. It sounds crazy that we had a period of time where we didn't see each other for a number of months, but I sort of brought in very early on in the COVID stakes, especially during the 3-week lockdown that we were meant to go through back in the start, that we had daily calls. So we had 2 daily calls. The first one in the morning was work related, so we would talk about what everyone was doing, what they were up to, what their plans were, that sort of thing. So the good thing about that is everyone understands what's going on within the team. And the afternoon one, I just called it afternoon coffee. And that was literally to listen to me rant on about what I'd seen on Netflix and what I didn't like. We got other guys talking about what they were up to, concerns and things like that. It wasn't a sort of tell me all your problems, but
No. But then I think also, and this can completely lead off into a completely different podcast series, what we could do, but it's that whole mental health kind of aspect that is such a big thing now, and it has made people talk, and it's made people have those conversations with each other that they probably wouldn't have had before. So I think it was definitely a good thing for that, for sure.
And as I say, bringing the team closer together, it sounds crazy, but we continue those calls today. We have a daily stand-up with me and the team. As the team's got bigger, obviously the stand-ups got longer and longer. We still give it. Everyone's got a voice because it's important that we all know what's going on within the team. At the moment we've got a big project with a lot of equipment shipping out to the US early January now, due to some various reasons. But it was good to go into the office yesterday. We see the guys in person and also get them on a call because they may be working on something and other areas of or members of the team need something from them, and they understand that, those guys are busy because they're doing that. And it was good to see people pitching in. We were boxing up equipment, and I've got guys making up cable looms and things like that. And it was great yesterday to see everyone pitching in. And I think that shows the closeness of the team. And that's probably, it's a result of, the COVID thing. And also working from home. We all now operate under a hybrid model, whereas before it was very much, can I work from home? Can I work from home? Well, can you please justify why you want to work from home?
And now, I suppose selling the technology that we do as well, if we can show that we can do it ourselves and actually put that into action, it kind of helps a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And working in the team from a sort of post-COVID's allowed us to expand the team, whereas before we had quite a small catchment area. We're based in the Cotswolds. It's a fantastic place to be based, but there's not as many engineers there as you would think. So we've actually expanded. We've got guys that I've met. One of my team, I've not met him yet. He's been with me about 6 months. I've not met him. I was due to meet him at our Christmas party, but unfortunately I was ill. But we've cast the net further. We've managed to get some really good guys, but are based throughout the UK. And the calls and the closeness of the team has enabled us to do that as a business.
So then around technology then, so from your first-hand experience, what would you say is the most exciting thing happening within Juniper Tech at the moment? What kind of parts of the technology is making you excited?
I think it's got to be Apstra. I was going to say, I thought you'd say that. Yeah, it's the one for me. It does it. I like cool stuff. I like technology. The way that it manages the environment, and you can build environments quite quickly. It does it for me. I think it's such a cool technology. We did the reason I think I like it so much is we did a project or a pilot for the customer I mentioned earlier that's down in Italy, and it took us about 3 months to get to a position where we had a pilot system running. They then decided to go down the Apstra route, and we stood up the whole environment, in an afternoon.
It is definitely exciting within the industry. A lot of people are talking about it. I have to say it's been one of our ones that we are trying to push the most of, I think, this year. We've got quite a lot of events coming up next year. Just moved the date of one actually for March. But yeah, there's a lot of backing from Juniper on the Apstra side of the business. They're really keen to keep pushing it. So yeah, if we've got engineers internally that believe in it and that are excited about it, then it only helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think we've got 3 projects on the go at the moment with Apstra. It doesn't sound a lot, but it's not for everyone. You've got the traditional type networks that will go a different route. You've got the smaller networks that it might not suit. There are plans within Apstra that we've heard through sort of roadmap sessions that they'll be catered for. But these larger projects, it really suits what customers need. Easy to deploy, easy to manage, and it's just the ongoing ability to look after the network, make changes, make things work, and manage it. It's just really, really cool.
So like you've said, you've been out and about quite a lot recently. I know that you've travelled the world probably more than you have done ever in the last 12 months. Every time I speak to you, you're somewhere different. What do you think is your biggest achievement on a project side around Juniper that you guys have done, your team have done, even a joint or individual in the last 12 months?
That's a tricky question because there's been so many. I think what we've done, I think in the last 12 months, we've cut over about 4 data centres for one customer. And I think there's one just outside Heathrow. I think that was our biggest achievement because I think it was about 25 racks of kit, It's not been looked after for many years. It was an absolute mess, and to be able to rip all that out and put it all back together, make it all work over a weekend, was probably our biggest achievement. And that's what I mentioned earlier. At 4 a.m, we hit a massive problem with something within the network. We got to 4 a.m. Everyone was delirious, but we managed to soldier through and get it done. I think that's been pretty good, and that's based around the relationship that we've got with the customer, their engineering resource, our team, and I think one of the key things from that is the team's ability just to crack on.
That was probably your most local one as well, wasn't it, for the places you have been recently?
It was, yeah. We've also done this year. We've done Singapore. We've done Johannesburg.
You're getting your BA air miles up.
I am. I wish it actually gave me something good, but yeah, with the old the point scheme has been pretty good. I know that I did take one of the sales guys with me over to Dallas. I had some meetings. As crazy as it sounds, I went to Dallas for 2 days, which was just mental. And I did take him into one of the lounges in the airport in Heathrow. We spent about 2 hours eating the food because there was just so much choice, which was quite good. He sort of got on the plane. He did say to me, "I feel really sick. I hate you." But it's one of those.
Yeah. So, what do you think Juniper should be having on their roadmap? I know they've got quite a lot coming up. For me, the Paragon kind of licensing is something that I'm quite interested in us developing and enabling our sales guys more on next year. Like I said, we've got loads of events happening, especially around Apstra, the AI piece, security. Is there anything on their roadmap that you can't see that you think they're missing a trick on here?
I don't think so. I think they've got a really good spread of products now. Whereas before, if you said the word Juniper, say even 5 years ago, everyone would just look at you and just throw back data center at you.
Yeah, some routing, some switches.
Yeah, some routing switching. They're not another major manufacturer that everyone knows that's out there. But I think now they've covered all the bases. They've got really good enterprise offering nowadays. I think they're stronger in the enterprise space today than they ever have been, with things like Mist, with the wired assurance, the wireless assurance. I think Mist is a bit of a game changer for Juniper. I think that was a turn of direction for them. I think they really, really did well taking that product on. Because
I think they were able to get into different verticals as well. A lot more schools and governments, etc., see that as breaking for them. So
yeah, I think everyone we show the actual interface and the ability of Marvis within Mist, they're just blown away by it. I think Apstra is key. I can wax lyrical about Apstra for hours on end. I think their routing portfolio on the MX platform. I know that the MX204 is now
it's
looking
back,
yes. It was a sad day. I'm actually we're installing some for one of our customers, and it was quite a bad place to be when you're saying, we're going to put these new routers in for you, and by the way, they're end of sale. And it just left a hole. It left a massive hole in their portfolio.
But I think as well, it's quite hard to get customers to see that now, because they were so obviously when it got made end of life. A lot of customers obviously complained because they had these big bombs for installations for all this kit, and now all of a sudden we're saying you can't get it anymore. Now they've got their head around that and they've changed and readjusted their BOM. We're now saying to them, oh, you can now get this again. I think it's a hard one to get them to reverse and go backwards, but I think we do need to get that messaging out there a little bit more, because needs to be said.
It's a sweet spot, of all the devices that they sell. I think it's such a sweet spot. It's like a Swiss Army knife. You can put it in smaller networks, you can put it in data centers, you can run full table. When you compare it against the previous generation, like the MX80s, MX104s, and all of the older stuff, it's just an amazing box. And to see it go, it was a sad day, but it's coming back. I think on their switching range, on the QFXs, we're putting a lot of QFX 5120s in. So again, sweet spot, really.
And the
really
lead times are looking a lot better now, I have to say, than they were. So that is a good thing.
They are. The lead times before was standard 365 days. You won't get it any quicker. Now we're seeing stuff that was on over 200 days turning up very, very quickly.
Well, yeah, we had a project that was due in August that's now been turned around to say 4th of January. So big difference there. Big difference.
So I think Juniper have done really well in the way they've evolved as a company. They've seen that they had holes in their portfolio. I think the management understood where they were seen in the industry, as a data center type people. And I think what they've done is they've turned that around. They are a true enterprise vendor now, and they've got sort of the feet in both camps. You've got the data center stuff, and you've also got the enterprise, which is how you need to be. You shouldn't specialize in one. You've got to sort of have the feet in both areas, I think.
Why would a customer buy from Kubus if they were going to look at their Juniper network? I mean, what makes us different to any other partner out there? Because there's quite a few of us. We all sell the same stuff. So why us?
You've seen me, right? No, I think
true. If anyone's listening to this and they want to see him, it is recorded, so you can.
No, please don't. No, I think some of the reasons I said earlier, we're different. We listen. I've been involved with a lot of companies over the years. I've been in a lot of situations where I've been looking after the network side, and I've got other people in from different technologies, and they just dictate to the customer. It's the standard response is I want this product to do a job. They have a standard response. Yeah, you need this product, and that's all you need. And they don't listen. We've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. So we listen to customers. We try to understand from a customer point of view what they're trying to achieve. We're not going to dictate. We're not going to say we're going to sell you the latest product if it doesn't fit. I've stood up. I remember one meeting I had with a customer as a presentation to their board members around a project we were working on, and we were responsible for the actual rollout and pre-staging of the actual devices, and we were selling a CPE kit for a customer. And I stood up and I did this big presentation about what we would do for them and how we'd manage the project. And I sort of stopped and I looked at them and said, "But we will mess up. We'll get things wrong, and sites will get delayed, and things will go horribly, horribly wrong." And the sales guy just fell off his chair. The other people just dropped their pens. And then one of the directors sort of looked up and says, "Why? Tell me more about this." And I said, "Well, yeah, things will go wrong, but what we as a business will do is we'll make sure we'll get those things back on track. We'll come around them. We'll get them, get the project back on track. We'll fix problems. We'll adapt. If something doesn't work in site number 1, we'll move on to site number 2, and we'll overcome." So I think we're as good as when things go wrong, because we are who we are. We'll get things right, and we'll make things right when things go wrong.
I definitely think an expertise side as well from the sales team and within your team as well. Both sides gel quite well, and SEs from our side are always brought into conversations from the account managers. So I definitely think it is a whole team aspect as well.
Yeah, and I think we've got, like you say, experience. We've done a lot of this before. Even with new technologies, we can get involved. There's nothing new, right? A lot of the stuff that's latest and greatest today is a rehash of things that have happened many years ago. Within the team, we've got a good level of experience across multiple disciplines. So we've got servers and storage guys, we've got networky guys, we've got guys that look after potentially other vendors. My background, I've got a background in other vendors, as is other members in my team. And we've done a lot of this before. So things like migrations, customers have come to us and said, we want to migrate a network. We've done that, on large scale, small scale within the team, and we understand the pitfalls and we can highlight those to customers. So I think we differ than a lot of resellers. We've got a very strong technical team. We've got a very strong sales team who listen to customers. They're not pushy sales guys. They don't turn up with massive watches, big cars and a nice suit. We're from the Cotswolds. We're down-to-earth people. We understand requirements. We listen, and then we come up with solutions. And then we work with customers to implement them.
Thanks, Paul, for joining us today. I appreciate it with your time. And to everyone listening, thank you very much for listening to our first podcast of the series. We'll be back again soon with more updates around Juniper, other vendors, and Kubus, and why us. So keep well, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us at the Kubus podcast. We hope you enjoyed the chat. Remember, there are more conversations in the series. Just search for Kubus wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe.